What's up, everybody? I'm excited today. I get to show you the first investment that we purchased on auction, and I'm standing right below it actually. You can see it is right behind me here. And so we're going to do a walking tour of it and going to show you what it's like. We did put some money into it. We're not going to talk about the remodel budget today. Like you saw in the title, the minimum bid was 24,000 euro, but that's not how much we paid. So I'm going to answer that later on in the video. So if you're interested in that information, go ahead and stick around for the rest of the video. Down here, the area is beautiful. Right, there's a river on the back side of the property, and from the bedroom, there's a really nice view of the countryside. Because we're right on the outskirts of Sant'Angelo Lodigiano. I've mentioned it before. This is pretty much the community where we've invested most of our investment properties in, and it has about 12 to 14,000 people. I never really know if the population is that accurate when I look on Google, for example, here in Italy. This little fourplex was in need of a little bit of TLC. The whole upper floor was on auction at the same time. There are two units. At a later date, the basement was also on auction and has been sold since then. It's actually not an apartment, it's a commercial space. Before, it was kind of a junkyard for old stoves and old microwaves and toasters, and the business wasn't going well, and so it was kind of just where he threw everything. He didn't want it anymore. And so we're really happy that it's changed possession, but at the same time, there's a little bit of craziness that's going on since now there's a new owner, and the owners of the current apartments, they don't really agree so much. So we're in the middle of a little fight. So maybe in the future I'll tell you more about that. Just wanted to show you a little bit of the neighborhood. There are some nicer properties right over on this side of the building, and it's basically this corner right here of the building that's on the upper floor. One of them is for sale at this point. When we bought this, there was actually two. The whole upper floor was on auction, and if I remember right, the owners were friends from the same country, and they both worked for the same job and lost their properties about the same time, and so they were in quite the similar situation. But when we purchased, the one on the right was actually empty and the one on the left wasn't. But the one on the right seemed a little bit less, in worse condition, I would say. At this point, they've actually put a lot of money into it. They've lowered the ceilings to retain some heat a little bit closer to the floor, because here in Italy, the ceilings are quite high. At some point, they decided to build a set of garages, and so one of these garages belongs to the apartment. There are actually 4 for the building and 4 for this other complex over here. We're just going to head in right now, and this is, I'm going to explain how it used to be actually, so you can get an idea of why we did this. Here's the kitchen as we enter, and I'm going to come back to the kitchen. Let me shut the door. I'm going to come back to the kitchen in a minute, but the very first thing I'm going to show you is our living room area. It's pretty much open aside from this wall that divides the spaces. Here is where they spend most of the time. Most of the furniture in here is also IKEA for those Europeans out there. But honestly, this tour is going to be very quick. Just to show you a little bit of what to see outside. It's just like on the back side of some apartment buildings. This building ahead of us was actually just purchased. Back in the day, it used to be stables. People live under there. They've remodeled it, and then along the entrance of this area, they recently remodeled it as well. Just to get an idea of the size of the space. Moving quickly through. So here in the kitchen, I actually installed this kitchen myself. Again, another IKEA kitchen, and instead of paying the installation fee, I decided to tackle it, and I did it all by myself, aside from maybe like opening the boxes, in which I was accompanied by my kids and my wife. Pretty standard kitchen. Again, there's actually some nicer houses out to the side here that are facing the garage. The main renovation that we did was on this wall. And you can see from the photos that we actually did the work from the bathroom side, and you're going to see the bathroom in a minute. When we bought the property, it was habitable, but right here in front of this kitchen, there was like a partition wall that separated the kitchen from this entry, but it was still all visible. We took that down. We actually had to get creative with how the tile, because this is the original tile, we took some tile from a different location because it was broken up. We took this tile from the bathroom project, which was fortunate because there was 2 layers of tile. The apartment itself is 97 square meters inside a 4-plex. This is a corridor there's a bedroom, the main bedroom, and then a second bedroom. They're actually pretty much identical, and we're not going to film this one because we left it out for privacy reasons. This area is a place where they've actually installed a wood pellet stove that has an air outlet that goes and heats that side. They can close this if they want to retain heat on this side as well. Then there's this pipe that extends through the attic since they're on the top floor. We're going to first go into the bathroom. This is, like I said, where we did most of the work. This is new tile. Like before I mentioned, we took tile, this brown tile that was at the same level. We took it all out. It was completely pink. So we took down all the tile, broke it apart. And then this wall right here, we did most of the work on this wall, shared with the kitchen. Installed all new drain pipes and new water pipes, and even all the way over to here there was the drain for the toilet. We had to connect into the building system and adjust it slightly because of how it was set up previously. There was a bathtub on the right, and we've taken out the bathtub and just installed this larger shower, and now it feels like a really big space. And we did put pipes down underneath because we had to access the sink on this right hand side as well. So there's a water shutoff valve underneath the sink here that shuts off the water for the whole bathroom. Moving on into the bedroom, it's fairly spacious, much more spacious than my house, for example. Our house, even though it's larger, it's split onto 2 floors, and so the spaces are divided with the stairs and an extra bathroom. You've got this Montessori bed and the matrimonial. So right now this property is being used by family. This is used by my brother-in-law and his family, and they spend most of the time here. Before we finish the tour, let's take a glance inside this second bedroom, even though I said we wouldn't. And then just one more final room. But inside here is a laundry as well. Because we saved so much money on our first home and we started saving money monthly, not paying a rent or a mortgage, we were happily watching our savings account grow, which in turn made us desire to purchase another property. Well, the following year we decided it was time to invest, and we searched around for a property, an investment type property that we could use for family purposes for the time being. Because at this point in time, my wife's family thought they were going to move from South Italy to North Italy, and they'd stay 20-minute walk from our house and be able to visit their grandkids more often. Instead of the grandparents coming up, my wife's brother-in-law decided to come. So him and his family have set up shop here, and they now are saving and not paying rent or a mortgage. And so just like us, they're able to save monthly, and it's their choice what they do with their money, but hopefully they're going to save for the future or start investing for the future. So like I mentioned, I was not particularly fond of this investment decision. If it wasn't for purchasing it directly for the benefit of family, I probably would have opted for something else. My mother-in-law intended to come in here first, and she said, I don't want to live on the ground floor. I like to have my doors open, and I don't want someone walking in the door. And so based on that alone, and I honestly don't understand that opinion, but based on that alone, we decided to go forward with this purchase, and it's worked out. It's actually saved a lot of money for the family that's living here now. And in the future, we'll be able to turn it into an investment property and basically charge probably between $400 and 450 euros per month for it. We've discussed a little bit, you saw a little bit of the neighborhood. It is serviced, there is a hospital in the community, it has multiple supermarkets. There's actually a supermarket that was built right across the street after we purchased this investment. So it's actually turned out a little bit better than we expected. We had always expected my father-in-law would have to take a bicycle across town to do their grocery shopping if we didn't help them directly. And that's fine, he's used to it. But fortunately, when they need to, they can just basically walk about 2 minutes down the road and cover all of their expenses. So we haven't talked a lot about the price of this home. On the title, I mentioned that the minimum bid was 24,000 euros, and this is true. Well, I put it this way because often you will go and you'll see this auction for 24,000 euros. For my home, the minimum bid was 38,000 euros. That's very possible that you go and you're the only one. Now, sometimes it's not the case, like is the case in this property. We weren't the only one there. There was another investor that decided to come and try to purchase this home. And so the auction went up and up and up, and the bids increased from 24,000 to only 33,000. So that's how much we actually paid for this property. It was livable, people were already living in it. It needed some work here and there, but it was a really low price, and we could actually again pay cash and not have to get the bank involved, which actually saved us money in this case. If you don't involve a bank in court auctions, the notary goes away, the judge themselves signs all the paperwork, and it's legal, and everything's taken care of the day of the auction. Now, it takes a few weeks in order to really get the keys, or maybe even a few months, depending on if you choose the bank or not. But as soon as you make that payment, within a few weeks, usually you have keys in hand, usually. There are cases in which it doesn't work out that way. All right, so just imagine that. 33,000 euros, move in, bring a bit of furniture, and you could literally live in Italy in a fourplex in a community that, you know, it's not the biggest or the best community, but for many people, actually a lot of foreigners have moved into this area and are living their life working in Milan or Lodi or Pavia, wherever it might be, centralized. And we're really, really close to the highway that takes you from Milan all the way to Bologna and Rome. So it's really accessible, and it seemed like a really good investment at the time, and it's proven to be up to this point. Thank you for supporting this channel. If you have any questions, write them in the comments. Like the video if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you next time.